Welcome back, Bear Cub Nation, to another great semester of the Oakleaf Sports Report. I'm your host, Sean Dougherty, and after a nice long summer break, we are back at it to bring you, the Bear Cub faithful, all of your Bear Cub sports 411. Fall is a good time of year for the Bear Cub Nation, and this fall, the stories write themselves. Here are just a few of the storylines we'll be following closely this semester. The women's soccer team looks to defend their state championship with a new head coach. The volleyball team looks to continue their winning ways and bring home the title they fell just short of grabbing last season. And how will the football team respond to their disappointing 5-5 record last season? Not only these stories, but all the stories that unraveled during the season as well should make for a very exciting fall semester for the Bear Cub Nation. So let's get started as we have 2 great weeks of Bear Cub sport action to get you caught up on, starting with the reigning state champion Bear Cub women's soccer team. It's not often that a team wins a state championship and then has to replace its head coach. But this year, the JC decided to part ways with former head coach Luke Oberkirch and brought in former University of California team captain Tracy Ham. The former University of California forward has an impressive resume. From 2002 to 2006, Ham was a Division I Cal Berkeley scholarship athlete. And as I said before, she was a captain of the Golden Bears. All Pac-10, all NSCAA, all Soccer Buzz, Golden Bear Award winner, all academic Pac-10, and in 2005 helped set a school record for goals against average with 0.475, which was good for 7th in the nation. Also tying school marks for goals allowed with 11 and shutouts 14 in a season, and helped lead the Golden Bears to a Sweet 16 NCAA playoffs in 2005. As well, that was good for being ranked 6th overall that year. Coach Ham has started her coaching career in 2007 as an assistant head coach for College Park High School in Pleasant Hill. Then in 2009, returned to her alma mater as an assistant coach and helped lead the Cal Bears to the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament and helped get the Bears to being ranked 23rd in the nation. So how did Coach Ham's debut go as the new head coach of your SRJC Bear Cubs? Well, back on August 28th, the Bear Cubs took on Foothill. And in a close game, the Bear Cubs prevailed when Sal Jabray scored an unassisted goal to give a 1-0 victory to Coach Ham in her debut. Last week, the Bear Cubs took on San Francisco City College and lost in another close 1-0 game. This week, the Bear Cubs look to get back on track when they take on Cabrillo on Tuesday and Napa on Friday. Both games are here at the JC on the Cook Cipher Field, and Tuesday has a 3:30 start time and Friday is a 1 p.m. game. The men's soccer team has started off on fire. Last week, the Bear Cubs shut out Cabrillo on Tuesday 1-0 and then shut out Foothill on Friday 2-0. This week, the boys will travel to San Jose to take on De Anza on Tuesday and then will host the reigning state champion San Francisco City College Rams on Friday at 4 p.m. Water polo has had a rough start to their season, mainly due to the tournament that they played in this past weekend and the competition that they faced. The Bear Cubs played in the American River Tournament and faced the #1 Riverside, the reigning state champions, and lost 13-1. Then had to take on the #2 ranked team in the state, Golden West, and lost 19-5. Then took on the #3 ranked team in the state, Cerritos, and lost 16-2. Finally, the Bear Cubs lost to Mount Sac 10-5 to end the tournament. This week, the Bear Cubs open up conference play in their home opener against Sierra on Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Hopefully, head coach Jill McCormick can get the team in the win column this week. The men's water polo team didn't fare much better in the West Valley tournament. The Bear Cubs took on Delta and lost 11-12. Then West Valley dropped the Bear Cubs 19-6. Ohlone took their turn and won 10-7, but the Bear Cubs did get their first win on the season when the men beat De Anza 7-5. Like the women will host Sierra in their home opener Wednesday at 5 p.m. The Bear Cub track and field teams also got their season started this past weekend at the Fresno Invitational, and the results were not what the team or the coaches had in mind. The men finished 18th out of 20 teams, and the women finished 12 out of 18 teams. Up next for the Bear Cubs is the DVC Viking Invitational this Friday in Pleasant Hill at 10 a.m. Last season, the Bear Cub volleyball team fell just short of bringing home the state championship. The Bear Cubs finished second in the state championship tournament and in fact have finished in the top 5 in the state the last 5 seasons. This year, the Bear Cubs look not only to return to the state championship tournament, but this year bring home the title that has eluded them in the past. But this season, the team is young, and with only 6 sophomores returning to the team, head coach Kelly Wood will have to rely on the freshmen to get back to the postseason and the elusive state championship. So in the first game of the season, how did the Bear Cubs fare? Well, they took on Foothill on Friday, August 31st, and took the first match in 4 sets to start the season off with a win. The Bear Cubs won the first set 25-21, then lost the second one 21-25, then dominated the final 2 sets 25-12 and 25-11. Last week, the Bear Cubs took on the San Francisco City College Rams and swept the 3 sets by the scores of 25-10, 25-13, and 25-8. The Bear Cubs look to continue their winning ways as they welcome in De Anza and Napa into town on Wednesday, and those games start at 1, 3, and 5 p.m. Last season, the Bear Cub football team was full of promise and thoughts of returning to a bowl game for the first time since 2008. But then the first game got started. And by the end of that game, the Bear Cubs were without 3 of their top players. And then in the second game of last season, starting quarterback David Sowers broke his hand and was out for the season. With those injuries, the team lost 4 of its leaders and playmakers. The Bear Cubs finished with a 5-5 record and did not appear in a bowl game. This season, the team is ready to roll, and in the season opener, they showed just how ready they are for this season. The Bear Cubs opened their season on Saturday, September 1st, against the Mendocino Eagles here at Bailey Field, and it was a perfect day for football. The weather was beautiful. The stands at Bailey Field were full of Bear Cub fans, and the team was ready to go. And it did not take very long for the Bear Cubs to get things started. In fact, it only took 1 minute and 15 seconds for the Bear Cubs to get on the board and take a 7-0 lead when Caitlin Anderson caught a 16-yard touchdown pass from quarterback David Sowers. It was the first of 3 touchdowns for Caitlin Anderson and the first of 5 touchdown passes for Sowers. The offense was sharp and precise on that Saturday, and that was due to a great day from Sowers, who went 20 for 36 for 337 yards and the 5 touchdowns. Caitlin Anderson had a great day with 7 receptions for 118 yards in his 3 touchdown receptions. Running back Joe Teo also had an impressive debut for the Bear Cubs. The recruit from high school football powerhouse De La Salle had 9 carries for 21 yards on the ground, but had 4 receptions for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns, and definitely made an impression on his new team. Defense and special teams also played crucial roles in the season opener and was one of the main factors in this game. When it came down to it, basically helped when the Bear Cubs walk off the field with a victory. The final score, 51-20. The Bear Cubs had their first road game of the season this past Friday night in Pleasant Hill against the Diablo Valley Vikings. The Bear Cubs jumped out to an early lead when Bergstrom caught a 69-yard pass from quarterback David Sowers to go up 7-0. Then the Bear Cubs added on another 7 points when Spencer Morrow broke free for a 30-yard touchdown run to make it 14-0. But then the Vikings answered when Louis Andre caught a 23-yard pass from Keeler Quinn, and that is where the score stood as both teams headed into halftime. DVC received the second half kickoff and drove down the field on 6 plays for 73 yards in a minute and 50 seconds that ended with a Louis Andre catching a 12-yard pass for his second touchdown of the game and made it a 14-13 game after the extra point was no good. The Vikings scored again when Deontay Jackson grabbed his first touchdown of the game, a 24-yard pass from Quinn to give the Vikings a 20-14 lead. But then the Bear Cubs would answer back on a 75-yard drive that ended with backup quarterback Christian McAvelin scoring on a 1-yard run to give the Bear Cubs a 21-20 lead in the fourth quarter. DVC would score with a minute and 22 seconds left in the game when Louis Andre caught his third touchdown reception of the game to give DVC a 26-21 lead. The Bear Cubs were at the start of their drive with a minute and 22 seconds when McAvelin was intercepted and returned for 35 yards. All DVC had to do was get one first down to end the game, but the Bear Cub defense stopped the Vikings on 3 plays to force a punt. That's the snap on that punt to DVC's punter Hugo De Los Santos went over his head, and the Bear Cubs recovered the ball on the Vikings' 12-yard line. Then, on third down, McAlvin hit Kalen Anderson on an 18-yard pass to give the Bear Cubs a 28-26 lead, and the Bear Cubs come from behind to beat DVC. The Bear Cubs are 2-0 to start this season, and this week host Sac City on Saturday at 1 p.m. This upcoming game against Sac City will provide some extra action during halftime, as fans will get to see a 7-on-7 rugby scrimmage between the Bear Cubs and Sac City. There are a few other announcements regarding the Bear Cub athletics. First, the JC will be hosting the SRJC Community Golf Tournament on October 4th at Oakmont Golf Course. Registration starts at 8 p.m. and the first tee time is at 10 a.m. For more information, go to www.srjcgolf.com. Also, mark it on your calendar now, football fans. The Cole Classic is set for Saturday, October 20th at 7 p.m. against Foothill. And finally, next Sunday, the 16th, the JC welcomes in NBA Hall of Famers Phil Jackson and Chris Mullin for Finding Greatness Within. Both former NBA legends will be discussing the spiritual nature of sports, overcoming challenges, and the essence of teamwork. Tickets for this amazing event are only $25 and $15 for students. Doors will open at 4 p.m. and the event will get started at 5 p.m. Well, that's all for this episode of the Oakleaf Sports Report. Be sure to check out the Bear Cub Beat on 96.7 Bob FM every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. and every Thursday on Y 100.9 at 11:30. Thank you for joining me, Sean Dougherty, and remember, you can only win the games in which you play. Go Bear Cubs.